Do you have to be psychologically minded to be happy? Welcome to Signpost for Living with Dr. Kirsten Hunter. Hello, gorgeous Kristen. We've got Kristen Coggan here, everybody.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. So...
Yes, you're looking at me like it's...
Well, it's a big one. It's a big
Is it?
one.
What is it?
Yeah, well, I just said it. Do you have to be psychologically minded to be happy?
Yeah, and I have no idea what that even means, but let's explore it.
Yeah, it's a fascinating one. So, first of all, I think in the world of psychology, there's basically an assumption that you need to become quite skilled in being self-aware and having capacity to emotionally regulate, communicate, function pretty well as an adult. And
One would hope so.
well, yeah, but you know what? There's plenty of people that don't do that. They kind of cruise along and they're not that reflective. And I guess the question is there one path
to being happy?
Do you have to be psychologically minded and skilled to be happy?
Can you just break down psychologically minded, please? Because that could mean a lot of things.
It could. Well, let's talk about happy first of all. Yeah. So obviously that's an incredibly subjective, measure. And basically I would say it's being content. And just more days than not, mood being in a better place than not. Yeah. And having a sense of moving forward in the direction you're travelling. Yeah. Psychologically minded, I would be talking about skills. So self-awareness, skills with regard to, like having the skill set in knowing how to address issues, whether that be relationship issues, communication issues, conflict, and all the, psychology, cognitive behaviour therapy, so all the cognitive stuff with regard to all the negative cognitions that can happen, all of that negative self-talk. So there's a lot of skill with regard to understanding how to navigate all that. And do you need that to be happy?
I was going to say no in the beginning, but in the last 96 seconds, I've swung over to yes.
Have you?
Yes.
I actually, when you enjoy the question more than the answer, that's where I'm at with this one. Because, in truth, if we think about psychological health, we really think about being playfulness, the capacity to be in the present, to be, very mindful in the moment, and to not be overly stressed about events in the past or the future, which is anxiety, and to have a can-do attitude within yourself and within the world, and that playfulness. And I think that if you are the personality who just cruises along, keeps things pretty in the moment, and I think that if life doesn't give you too much difficulty, then you could be a pig in mud. You could be extremely content and happy.
Yes.
In which case you don't need a lot of skill in all of the above.
No, but I was equating it to when you were talking, as we get older, you get more content with your lot in life.
Do you think?
And you feel you've got more control and you're wiser on how to handle things. That's my personal experience. And I could possibly say, besides when I was a young, innocent child and summer days lasted forever and so did the school holidays and you had nothing to worry about, that kind of happiness. But now as an adult and I'm content and I know how to take charge of my own feelings and how to handle conflict, like you said, that sort of thing, nothing really worries me too much.
Yeah, and so you're talking about life experience.
Yeah, so I'm feeling, so is that psychological, have I got a bit of psychological awareness just because I'm an old duck and I've been through the ropes?
That's your self-awareness and your skill set.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when I was in my 20s or my teens and I didn't have that, and I was a blithering mess and had anxiety and hated myself and would yell at people if they upset me and control the situation by being loud and rambunctious.
Were you?
Oh, yeah.
I'm joking. I know that. Of course, that's you. I love it.
Yeah. So therefore, I think in my personal case, that psychological awareness has helped me be content and happy.
I actually really agree. I think that with a lot of people, you know, as they get more mature in life, there is more calmness within them. They know who they are. They're being more authentic in who they are. They're not trying to shape based on society and trying to fit a mould. They've definitely got a wealth of knowledge to draw on to deal. They become kind of the elder in the community. I'm not saying that we're old, but, you know, mature. And I completely agree. And I would argue that you could see two pools of people, two pathways where some people don't get their shit together and they can get more and more kind of, you know.
They kind of get left behind.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say diplomatically. I'm struggling.
Yes, they get left behind, or they just don't get to that next level, maybe.
Increasing hostility towards the world within themselves doesn't go well. They haven't particularly evolved.
No, you're exactly right. And it's not effective. And I think some people don't ever see that. They don't ever get that foresight. And others do.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Perhaps.
So I think that I think that the reality is that life is going to give you a lot of knocks. You are going to have difficult people. Things aren't going to go your way. You're going to have some tremendously bad news. You're going to have loss. And through all of those, when you have the skill set to rely on yourself, to be aware of what you're thinking, to check that you're rational, to emotionally regulate, to reach out for people for support, you know, then they're all the tools that are going to help you to work through all of those things. So I guess, you know, I just think it's a really interesting question to kind of step back and look at what is psychological skill set and health. And, you know, I think the idea of someone sitting in the sandpit having a lovely time and just being in the moment, you'd have to live in an igloo, really, wouldn't you?
I try really hard to live in the moment. It's not something that is my default setting, but I wish it was.
Yeah.
Because it would be brilliant. And I'm going to try so much harder. And we've mentioned in a previous episode, I've got a big trip coming up.
Yep.
And I'm purposely not looking at the itinerary too closely. I just want to live in the moment.
Yeah.
And just, boom, this is what I'm doing today. And just enjoy it.
Do you know, whenever I go travelling, I try to think of, you know, this is what we're planning, all going well. And I have this kind of proviso that if things go well, this is what's going to happen. I don't get it locked into my mind, so that then if things don't go the way you planned,
because inevitably something will have to change.
There's like a flexibility to it, and there isn't too much of a disappointment. So I've already kind of created a softness around it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good thing. So I would argue that when you're psychologically minded, basically you can deal when life goes bad.
Yes.
But being able to just be quite, it's also a skill to be playful and childlike in the moment.
And I think if you're psychologically minded, whatever life throws at you, you won't necessarily have the answers for everything, but you'll know to reach out for help because you've got that mindset, and you'll know that, you know, I need to work out another strategy here.
Yeah, and one of the most profound skills is being comfortable with hardship, being comfortable with the times when you are anxious, when you are angry, when you are sad, and to understand that it's a valid emotion. Don't react and be panicked about it, and to sit in that space and let it wash over you, and it will. And it takes courage to do that and not to panic and freak out about it.
Have a knee-jerk reaction.
Absolutely, absolutely. I had a really rough day. I won't go into it, but I had a really rough day yesterday. And, you know, I was able to say, this is how I am, and that's understandable. Sit in that space, you know, which a lot of people have that skill. So I think that comes with self-reliance and self-care. It's a good thing. So basically, I think the punchline is go and learn all you can about yourself, and get skilled so that when the shit hits the fan, you're good to manage it.
And look at the people around you that can do that. Like, just observe.
Yeah.
Talk to them. Ask them. Like, just learn.
Yeah.
From people around you who seem to have that skill set.
And if you need a bit of that, give them a call. You know, speed dial's a good thing. Well, thank you, darling. That was a very interesting conversation.
It was.
There you go.
It was.
There you go. Well, everyone, if you want to catch me online, we've got Facebook and Instagram, Kirsten Hunter Author, and website kirstenhunterauthor.com. Lots of resources on there. Thank you, darling. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
See ya.
Bye.